During the last school term of 2010, a pilot program was completed by students at Chatham High School in Taree on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. 98 Indigenous students participated in the Through Our Eyes program, which was delivered during school hours over 7 weekly sessions.
My name's Tony Clark. I came up with the idea of the Through Our Eyes program through working with children in the education department, foster kids. I also do mentoring work and youth work as well.
It was just a fabulous idea, so we jumped on board through our community health centre.
We've been identified, Taree, as an area where domestic violence, sexual assault are big issues.
The program was designed in response to existing challenges faced by local Indigenous youth and their families.
There's a huge need. We have a huge problem in Aboriginal culture everywhere with drugs and alcohol, sexual assault, sexual abuse.
It's all about awareness. It's given them an opportunity to make better choices.
With young people today, I often imagine that they have a little tiny bag that they carry with them, and what we need to do is give them the skills that they need to have in this little bag that they can pull out to have choices and options and power in their everyday lives, and this is what I think this program gives them.
In order to get the program off the ground, several key partnerships were established between local Indigenous stakeholders, community and health service providers and inter-late family centres.
We sourced a lot of agencies, organised a lot of meetings, emails, phone calls. This was over a long period of time.
For me, everything that worked was that the open communications between the organisers and us as staff.
It was the coming together of many partnerships within community that I think made this program, what it is, and the achievements that they got out of it, I think, was the involvement of many.
The Through Our Eyes program provides students with culturally appropriate information and discussions on identified areas affecting themselves, their families and communities.
The target group for this program was years 7, 8 and 9, mainly because that's the group that are starting to be introduced to the drugs, the alcohol, the sex.
We tried to keep it very culturally appropriate in all aspects. I really think that we were adapting around what their needs were.
I'm working with the kids in the school to give them the stuff before they get out, before they make those mistakes.
It's coming back to our heritage of sitting around, and our culture of sitting around having a yarn. The elders talking to the kids actually sitting up and taking notice.
To begin with, students take part in the Red Dust Healing, a program which emphasises the importance of family connections, personal identity and spiritual healing.
Red Dust is an Aboriginal program. Red Dust talks about rejection and oppression. It's about them. I think they got a really better understanding of that, and they don't have to feel that they have to hold that sort of stuff inside. It's given them an opportunity to learn about their own grassroots. I believe that the kids have got a better understanding of these tools, these lifetime tools.
Coming to understand my true identity.
From the well-grounded and personal focus of the Red Dust Healing, students are well prepared to embrace a range of important and challenging topics. Qualified professionals from local agencies join students for an informative yarn and provide practical information on domestic violence, drug and alcohol, sexuality and sexual abuse, and building strong, healthy relationships.
A lot of it was basically telling them how to be safe, where they could go for information if they found that one of their friends were getting involved in a certain drug type, where they could access that information without feeling intrusive on a parent or a guardian.
I think that when they do come into these difficulties, they'll look back and think, I know where to go, I know what to do, I've got choice, I can make some good choices.
One of the key factors contributing to the success of the program was the yarning circle format, a traditional way of sharing knowledge and stories in Indigenous culture.
The yarning circle is where people are given the opportunity to have a voice and be heard, and to have that voice validated. But it's also a place where education is shared, where social skills are developed, and healing starts to happen.
I like the circle approach. It puts us all on the one level. It's not a us versus them classroom situation where we've got all this wisdom and they're supposed to just gather it from us because we're so smart. Just, hey, we're all in this together and we're all travelling together.
We got a lot of involvement through the yarning circle, the kids wanting to ask us questions, and the conversation just flowed on and on.
The Yarning Circle invites a stronger level of interest and participation from students and builds ownership and cohesion in the group.
Each week we went back and found that they were sort of sitting up and listening and engaging and wanting to know a bit more about this.
It gets them out of this head bit and gets them into this heart bit that Bill's talking about.
Traditionally, yarning circles were used and elders would bring us together and would share information when they knew that we were ready and we needed it, and it would go into our little bag of repertoire that we carried around, and we could draw on it when necessary. We could pass it down to other generations, and we're giving young people that same opportunity.
And I guess what one of the young people said today was a good thing too. They don't often get the time just to be able to talk openly and say how they feel.
At the end of the program, the kids enjoy a well-deserved celebration and recognition for their learning and participation.
On the last week we held a barbecue and the kids all said, we want this program to come back, which was really good for us. It shows that these kids want to know a bit about their culture, their heritage, somebody to take notice of them. That's all they want, somebody to talk to.
It's helped these kids a lot. They always look for it. They always ask, Matt, when's the next Red Dust program or yarning circle, you know? And I said, look, I'll have to contact Tony and then we can get things going. The kids love it. Yeah.
Students who completed the program demonstrated an increased knowledge of local services. They learned how to access relevant information and support, and they deepened their understanding of what builds healthy, respectful relationships. Information was not only retained by the kids, it found its way into their homes and their families.
Yeah, I guess it's proof in the fact the amount of young people who come to us afterwards, whether it be on the street, whether it be that day when we finished, disclosures were made. There's been a lot of contact since. There's been referrals made by children sending their mums to counselling.
Wonderful from my perspective was that the information was actually getting to home, and that's where it really needs to go.
To have this benefit so many within a school system and to see this then flow out into other school systems will be a great benefit for many other communities, a forerunner for change for a lot of people.
Early feedback indicates the program has exceeded projected outcomes.
I've had nothing but good reports back from the school. I've had other schools approach me wanting this program. Also elders approaching me wanting to take this to Gloucester and Foster.
The program itself has had incredible outcomes. All of that I've heard and all of the experience that I had were really positive. There was so much engagement and it was a great way of bringing partnerships together from communities.
I've had a couple of phone calls from parents that wanted to book somebody else in to our service, didn't quite know we were around, so that was obviously a key instrument.
There's limited role models out there at the moment and it'd be great for them to become the role models of the future.
Once they learn who they are and their origins and that, a lot of their bad feelings tend to subside and they can stand strong, be proud.
What possible reason did you have for having this knowledge and not sharing it with those kids? These kids are worth every bloody shot we can give them.
There's a lot we can do with this program. We can introduce health programs into this and then finally bring the parents in for a yarning session as well, and then hopefully open it up school-wide for a yarning session, so it's a whole school focus around having a yarn for Indigenous and non-Indigenous kids.
With the success of this program's pilot delivery to Chatham High School, community interest has increased and the project is progressing towards frequent and widespread delivery to young people in Australia.